Hey Gilli, it's great to
Hi.
have you here and I'm happy to
Great to be
interview you.
here.
It's
Thank
been
you.
only a year and a half since you arrived at IAC, but it feels much longer given the occasions of the last week and all the things that have been done.
Right. I feel the same. Feel like it's forever.
So, speaking about the last year and the occasions of October 7, what the first thing that happened were the blackouts and service denial, followed by repairs made under fire by your technical teams. Now, what were the challenges and how can innovation better help your people on the front?
Yeah. Well, I guess everyone had the same feeling when October 7th happened, but in Israel Electric, we really felt like we're the first line. We had, I'm sure you all remember, at the beginning, there were like missiles all the time, all over, and the grid was affected immediately. And we understood that we, as Israel Electric, we're fighters. We have to get that grid going, and we have to stop or take care of the power outages that were all the time there. And our people, the technical teams, just had to go out there with maybe only helmets and vests to literally fix the grid under fire. And that was the first thing that we as a company had to cope with. So the first few days were like a complete chaos as most of the country, but we understood our role and mission very quickly. And the innovation team and around the company was like, how can we help here? Because sometimes innovation is something that you put like as a second base, right? Now there's a war. Now we need to take care of fixing the grid. No innovation now. No time for things that gonna take maybe longer. Now we have to do only what's necessary. So we said innovation has to be recruited just like everyone else. And we came up with, like in a few days, we established like a Hamal, like innovation Hamal, innovation operating room. And we took people from all over the different units of the company, and we said, what can the innovation help with? And the main thing that occurred was that our technical teams, the employees, they have to go out there under fire and fix the grid, of course, and they have only helmets and vests. They don't have protection, which is crazy to think about. It's like sending soldiers, right? At the beginning, everybody, we all heard stories about the equipment that is missing. So it was the same. It was equipment that's missing because nobody ever coped with that number of power outages and missiles going, and we didn't have the right equipment. So the innovation unit, with the help of all the other units on participating in that innovation Hamal, we just started to act like a startup. We started to understand the need, to understand the pain, to understand what we need to do, because we had to have it quickly. They have to have it tomorrow morning, working. And we came up with two solutions for our field teams. One of them was really actually just a mobile shelter, right? Because when you go out to fix the grid, and then there was alarm like every few minutes back then, they didn't have anywhere to go to except just lay down underground and put their, hands on their heads, which is crazy to think about, because they need to do their job and get the power back to the people of Israel. So we created a mobile shelter that they could take with them on the track all over the country. And another thing was we created a protection for, the truck with the lifts where the employees are going up to the higher poles. So we understood that the employees that are going up there to fix, and it's usually two employees, and they cannot go down when they have like a 10 seconds of alarm to go down and get into the nice new mobile shelter that we created. So for those two up there, it's not enough time to go down. So we understood that we have to take care of the basket itself, the basket that they go up, that lift take them up. So we, with the help of Rafael and a bunch of other security bodies in Israel, it was a great cooperation, and everybody worked together. We created a real just protection to the basket itself. So what they can do, they just go down inside the basket when they're up there fixing the grid. And that was two solutions that the innovation unit came up with in 3 weeks, from really idea to production. And they are field employees now use those protection solutions all around. So I think innovation has a very big part of helping just coping with the results of this war.
Thank you, Gilli. Now, the Israeli Electric Corporation has been perceived as a slow-moving giant for years.
For sure.
However, the reform has pushed you to a new era, and as Cody mentioned, we see now more investment. Now, can you elaborate on which companies you are looking for to invest and which are for pilots, and what are the differences between the two?
Yeah. So it's very true. First of all, we are a giant, and it's the biggest governmental company in Israel, and it has a lot of regulation, has a lot of things coming up with it. It's also a 100 years old company, so it is old, if we want to look at it that way. But we do see really as a national responsibility, this is how we see it, to invest and in the Israeli ecosystem. First of all, for the Israeli ecosystem, and also for the sake of the company, which is supposed to give a better service to the country and to the people that live here, and to have a better grid and a better power generation and everything. So as we saw it, we see it all the time as a national responsibility. So it started before October 7th, but as soon as October 7th happened, we understood that we have a really big role in helping the ecosystem and in getting the grid a better equipment and everything. So we decided to push even further the investments and to see where we can take it forward, really like just to take the market with us. We see two main areas where we want to invest and where we look for investments. And we put it's actually a part of what's going on in the world and in Israel specifically. It's not a secret that we have a really big revolution going on in energy. We see the EV, the electric vehicles are coming up really quickly. We see the new technologies like storage. We see the new PV is all over, right? The generation, which is great, and we need to support it. But the whole thing needs to be supported by the grid. And the grid was not designed like this. It was designed when there were like a few, like maybe 15 power plants in Israel, right? That just generated the energy and distributed to the whole country. And suddenly, we have a very decentralized power generation all over the country. And the grid needs to support that big revolution and get all those technologies into the grid safely. And this is a big thing. So when we look at that, we understand that improving the capabilities of the transmission and the distribution, everything that can help us improve the grid and those capabilities is something that we put our focus on, a huge focus on, because if we're not going to do that, then we're going to find it very hard to connect all the PV that the country wants to push, and of course, and we're going to have a really big problem in connecting all the EV to the grid. So everything that can improve the capability of the grid is a big focus that we put on investment, and also on the other part, on the power generation, where we generate in the power plants. We look at everything that can help us improve the generation, make it a greener power generation. We look at CO2 capture. We look at hydrogen very much. We just created Helet, like in Israel Electric, to see how we're going to support the hydrogen, because we're going to be a big consumers of the hydrogen when it's going to be efficient.
Thank you. Now, a different kind of innovative thinking.
Right.
Gilli, about a year ago, we talked about Women in Energy Corporate Governance Program, and just recently, we wrapped up our first cohort.
Yay.
Yes, as partners, of course. Now, you come from the field of innovation, so tell me what pushed you to join this initiative?
When you look at innovation, you cannot have everyone think the same. You have to have that diversity. It's a huge part of just to innovate. You have to have different voices, different thinking, and this is in one sentence. This is what pushed me in, because I see innovation as a core thing for every big utility, of course, but over every corporation. So for us in Israel Electric, if we're not gonna push that diverse thinking, we're not gonna have innovation as a good innovation. So this is one I want to thank you for that beautiful partnership, which we really had 42 amazing women just finished the cohort, and we're gonna have many more.
Yes, I'm already looking forward our second cohort. The first one definitely set a very high standard for us. It will be very difficult to meet.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, just to conclude the session and give us a challenge for 2025. For the IEC, what field would you like to tackle and to see our next All-Stars?
Oh, wow. There's many, but if I have to maybe choose one, so maybe everything, technologies that can help the energy conversion efficiency. Everything that goes under this is something, please talk to me. That's what I can tell. I hope to see many more technologies like this, because it's for the sake of the state of Israel more than anything else.
Sean, we have a mission. Thank you, Gilli.
Thank you, guys.